In this video, I'll be showing you how to use a program called Sutori. Sutori is basically a program that allows you to put together learning materials for students to present lessons to them, and you can also create templates that they can then use to complete work as well. What makes Sutori stand out, and the reason why I think it merits giving a look, is the fact that you can embed pretty much any type of media into a Sutori presentation. And that also means that you can embed assignments that you create in other EdTech programs in a Sutori lesson. So instead of making a hyperdoc where you're pushing students out through hyperlinks to all these different programs, you can just embed all those different activities in a single Sutori lesson. I also really appreciate that Sutori uses the 4 C's as a lens when they're creating their templates. So the pre-created templates in Sutori are designed to help students build skills in critical thinking, collaboration, communication, and creativity, so that students aren't just consuming the technology, but actually creating and making things with it. So stick around and I'll show you what Sutori is all about. My name is Sam Carey, and this is my YouTube channel for the new EdTech Classroom. In the first part of this video, I'll show you how you can use Sutori to put together learning resources for students, how to set them up to be actual lesson plan templates, and then I'll also show you how you could use Sutori for project-based learning. Before we get started, let's talk for a moment about pricing here. So when you first sign up for an account, you'll get access to the Sutori Unlimited account. So like most tech programs, Sutori is a freemium program, so they have some free features and then some features that are also behind a paywall. When you first sign up for Sutori, you'll have access to the unlimited version. So that'll give you a chance to check it out and see if you want to use it. Now in this tutorial, everything that I'm going to be showing you is with the unlimited version. So it is important to know that a lot of the features that I think make Sutori stand out and really worth using are going to be part of Sutori Unlimited. Just like any other program, give it a trial run, see what you think, and then you can base your decision about whether you actually want to purchase it from there. First, let's look at how to use Sutori to pull together learning resources for your students. Here's an example of a social studies lesson built in Sutori about the Aztecs. Presentations in Sutori are called stories. And you can see that when this story is in present mode, that it resembles a digital textbook with text, images, and videos. But in addition to those more traditional media features, you can also add interactive features like an embedded Quizlet flashcard set or quiz. With most apps, you'd have to send students over to Quizlet on a separate page. So being able to embed it here just makes for a much more fluid learning experience. And then in addition to these Quizlet flashcards, you can also do things like embed a quick formative quiz as a check for understanding to help students self-monitor and to help you better understand what students know and don't know. Sutori also has an embedded flashcard tool that will help students practice what they're learning and process and make meaning of that information. Let's take a look at another example here of a Sutori story for an art class. In this presentation, you'll see that the teacher is using the native comment function as a way to facilitate quick online discussion about different topics. You'll also notice that this teacher is using Sutori to post class instructions, assignment due dates, and links to Zoom. Again, like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, this is how Sutori works a lot like a hyperdoc, though instead of pushing students out to programs, you can just embed them directly into Sutori so that students don't have to worry about link management and you don't either. Now let's take a look at the assignment templates in Sutori. Although you could create an assignment completely from scratch, you don't have to because Sutori has an archive of assignment templates that you can take and edit and use as you'd like. For example, teachers can make use of this lab notebook template, which provides students with a framework where they can post their notes, comments, and multimedia as they proceed through the different phases of an experiment. Sutori also has templates for ELA teachers, such as this biography template, which walks students through the process of creating a biography about a famous person that they've studied. And this is something you could use as a creative alternative to a more traditional book report. In addition to content-based templates, Sutori also has community building templates and social emotional learning templates, such as this All About Me template, which you can use as a way to have students share more about themselves as well as learn about the program because it asks them to use different multimedia such as text, videos, and GIFs. Although the templates are structured, they still encourage students to process what they've learned in novel ways. So rather than just regurgitating text back after reading a text, they have to use different multimedia types and show what they've learned creatively. All of those presentations I showed you can be individual or collaborative, and there's no limit to the number of students that can get into a single Sutori story. Sutori can also be an effective tool for implementing project-based learning. There are lots of pre-made templates that will guide students through a logical linear flow of learning information and eventually applying it. And it also just functions as almost like an organization system where students can keep all the information that they're working on for a particular project. For example, you can see with this science project how the lesson is set up to gradually engage students in the topic before teaming up with a group to create their own infographic. And lastly, it sets them up to go out and collect evidence before designing and developing their own prototype. So you can see that one benefit of these pre-created templates for you and your students is that it takes care of some of the design elements so that your students can focus more on the content, but they also still have flexibility to express themselves creatively. Now that we've seen some templates that show you how you could use Sutori in your classroom, let me show you how you can build one entirely from scratch. First, you'll want to go to sutori.com where you can create your free account. Once you've created an account, you can add students by going to the Students tab and then clicking Invite Students. Here you'll see that you have the option to invite students via Google Classroom or Clever, or you can just give them a direct access code. You want to make sure that you add students to your Sutori account because this is going to allow you to easily see the work that your students have completed, as well as provide them with feedback. You'll also be able to see stats on how students are performing, such as time spent on a particular story or their responses to one of the formative quizzes. And if you do end up deciding to upgrade your account, then your students would all also be upgraded with you. I get this question a lot, so I do just want to let you know that Sutori is GDPR, FERPA, and COPA compliant, so they're not selling student data to third parties. Of course, it's always best practice to check in with your school and make sure that they approve the programs you're using as well. Now, to create your own Sutori story, you're going to go to the Stories tab and then click Create First Story. There you'll see a bunch of different templates for activities, graphic organizers, and lessons for ELA, history, math, and science. You can check out the templates by clicking on them, and then to share the template with students, you can either invite them directly to the Sutori story, or you can push the link out through your learning management system. And of course, you could also just copy and paste the link and share it directly with students. Make sure that when you do share the story with students that you've set the share settings correctly based on your needs. Now to create a template entirely from scratch, you'll want to click blank. First, add a title and description to your story, and then create your first heading. So if I were creating a lesson that spanned multiple days, I might label this based on the day of the week or the part in the lesson sequence. So I could label this Engage here, for example. Then beneath the header, click on the blue Add button to continue to add new items. Your first choice is to add text, which you can of course customize to be bold, italics, different fonts, etc. And you can also click Add Media to add an image to accompany the text. Here you can choose a picture from Unsplash, or you can just upload an image from your computer. In addition to text, you can also embed videos. The best way to do this is to find the video that you want on YouTube and then copy and paste the direct link in. Although you can embed videos this way, there's an even better way to do it by making those videos interactive, and I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. You can also add audio directly to a Sutori story by clicking on the voice recorder and then recording what you want to say. This could be an effective way to vary the way that you present materials to students or to make that material more accessible. Then when you click File, you can upload files from your device or from Google Drive. So you can embed things like a Google Doc or a Google Slides here. The link option is going to allow you to copy and paste the direct URL to a web page and then embed that web page directly in. But in addition to embedding web pages, you can also embed the activities from other EdTech programs that you're using. So for example, you could embed a Padlet board, a Flipgrid video, an Edpuzzle video, a Kahoot game, and a lot more. I've said it before, but it merits repeating that it's this feature, this ability to embed different activities and lessons from other programs directly into a Sutori presentation is really what makes it stand out. Remember that I said that rather than just bringing in a static YouTube video, it would be better to bring in one that's interactive. So the way that you would do that would be to go to Edpuzzle. You could copy and paste the direct link from an Edpuzzle assignment back into your Sutori story. Then you could use this option to expand the frame so that it takes up the full width of the story. And now you'll see when the video pulls up that there are interactive questions in it that students would have to answer so that they can self-monitor to see whether or not they're making sense of the information or not. In addition to embedding external quizzes, you can also click the multiple choice option in order to add a native quiz that's directly embedded in Sutori. And then matching quiz is going to allow you to create another way to have students practice making sense of the information that they've learned. Simply create the correct answers and the corresponding words, and it will set up a matching game for you. The Did You Know option works similarly to text in that it allows you to add additional supplemental information. And then the forum option will allow you to directly embed questions that students can answer. They can also see each other's responses and interact with each other in the forum. Then choosing bibliography is going to just populate a list of cited sources that you can put at the end of your story. Now, this lesson is getting a little bit long with a lot of resources. So to break it up, I can go back up here and add a new header. Once I add that new header, you'll see that it's also going to create a table of contents. And when I click on the different items in that table of contents, it will take me directly to that part of the Sutori story. Now, when I click on present, you'll see what it looks like if I were to present this lesson to students. Now, to share this lesson with students, you're going to want to click on the blue share button. There, like I mentioned before, you'll have the option to invite students directly to the lesson, to embed it in your learning management system, or to share the link directly with them. And if you use a class website or an LMS that requires an embed code, you can also access that, but you will need to set this up as a public story in order to be able to use that feature. Lastly, if you have resources in the story that students are going to need individual copies of, they can just go up to the three dots and then select make a copy, and that will make a copy of the entire presentation or assignment for them so that they can use the individual copies within the Sutori story. Thanks so much for watching this video to the end. If you found it helpful, be sure to hit the like button and share it with other teachers that you know. And if you want to learn more about how to teach with technology, then check out my How to Teach with Technology Starter Kit. It's totally free, and you can get it at newedtechclassroom.com/starter kit. It's a short online course that answers important questions like how to pick the right EdTech programs, as well as how to teach those programs to students. And it also includes a bunch of downloadable resources that you can take and use in your classroom. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next video.